Welcome, esteemed guests, to an extraordinary excursion into the profound literary realm of the Naval Code to Wealth, Transcending Money and Status. In this enlightening English lesson, artfully curated by the Exceptional English Club, we embark upon a refined and discerning journey. Prepare for a voyage of erudition, where the pages of this remarkable tome shall be dissected and explored with diligence. Our odyssey commences with a thought-provoking essay, meticulously crafted to expand your lexicon. Within its hallowed pages, you shall encounter words of utmost import, such as competitiveness, diligent, dissect, and societal. Fear not the labyrinthine nature of phrasal verbs, for we shall navigate through the linguistic maze with grace and precision. Expect phrases like focusing on, fart around, lies in, and ferreting about to unfurl before you, like a tapestry of linguistic elegance. As we delve deeper into this literary treasure, comprehension questions shall beckon, enticing you to demonstrate your astute understanding of the narrative's nuances. We shall guide you through this intellectual labyrinth with the utmost finesse and aplomb. Finally, our sojourn reaches its zenith, where exercises shall hone your mastery of vocabulary and phrasal verbs. Through these linguistic challenges, you shall refine your linguistic prowess and emerge from this lesson with a heightened command of the English language. In conclusion, dear guests, let us embark upon this refined and adventurous voyage into the depths of the Naval Code to Wealth, Transcending Money and Status. May the knowledge acquired linger within your minds, like a fragrance of intellectual triumph, until the cows come home. Let us commence this omnipresent game of linguistic refinement and elevate our minds to greater heights. The Naval Code to Wealth, Transcending Money and Status. To fully comprehend the concepts of wealth, money, and status, one must hunker down and dissect these ideas, as if they were a Rubik's Cube, one layer at a time. Wealth, as explained by Naval, is not the elusive pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but rather the assurance that our assets will keep generating income as we sleep, like diligent elves tirelessly at work. It's the enchanting symphony of a computer program, orchestrating complex tasks at midnight, or the solemn promise of a house, offering its sanctuary to tenants and thereby yielding rent. It's the age-old adage that money makes money. The perspective we often fail to iron out is that wealth isn't merely a pathway to ostentatious displays of opulence, but rather a key to unlocking personal freedom. It's not about sailing yachts or driving Ferraris, which in the grand scheme of life, can seem like a storm in a teacup, exciting momentarily, then blowing down in interest. Wealth is not about the coat of a fur-clad socialite, but rather the tie-less freedom of the sovereign individual. Wealth offers the opportunity to shrug off the collar of societal expectations and to no longer be a slave to the monotonous 9-to-5 grind, to the daily commute that feels like a journey, until the cows come home. Unfortunately, there's a common misconception that lingers like a bad odor, and we can't just fart around ignoring it. We are often led to believe that money, the physical embodiment of wealth, is an evil entity. But in reality, money is simply an IOU from society, an acknowledgement of a service provided, a value created. Money facilitates the transfer of wealth, just like a blood vessel carries oxygen to all parts of the body. It's an efficient means of exchange, even though it's continuously under threat from the likes of devaluation and corruption. At this juncture, it's worth calling out the omnipresent game of status that lurks in the shadows of society. It's a game, much like an enduring relic from our evolutionary past, that often comes down on us harder than we'd like to admit. The stark reality is that status is not the benevolent friend we sometimes perceive it to be, but a two-faced jester. While we hanker for an increase in status as if it were an elixir of life, it has the power to distort our perception of self-worth and pit us against one another in a relentless, never-ending battle. Status is your rank in the social hierarchy, the monkey tribe's order where positions are rigidly defined. It's a zero-sum game where the only way to rise is by displacing another. Unlike wealth, where everybody in the world can theoretically own a house, status is limited. If status were to be distributed like wealth, it would be akin to pigs flying. This competitiveness inherent in the status game often turns it into a tumultuous battlefield, where individuals are not just content with their rise but also dwell on the fall of others. It's like two different schools of thought ferreting about in society. People creating wealth are often those who look upon money as a tool, not an end in itself. They see through the illusion of status and choose to dwell on tangible creation rather than abstract rankings. On the other hand, you have people who equate money with evil and belittle the pursuit of wealth, often as a smokescreen to elevate their status. It's like the old saying, boys will be boys, except here, the players are not just content to play, but they also wish to control the game. One might wonder, then, how does one navigate this complex labyrinth of wealth, money, and status? The key lies in embracing the positive-sum game of wealth creation, rather than getting lost in the zero-sum game of status elevation. It's about choosing to create value rather than simply trading places. It's about deciding to invest in a house not merely as an asset, but as a means of income. It's about focusing on the creation of new, rather than the displacement of old. There will always be those who sound off about the evils of wealth creation, often in an attempt to pucker up their own status. But remember, wealth creation is a collaborative endeavor, a shared journey towards making something new, something better. It's a way to check over the barriers of status and social hierarchies and to create a world where everyone can potentially own a house, where everyone's work is up to scratch. In conclusion, the pursuit of wealth, money, and status isn't a straightforward path. It's a journey filled with challenges and choices, where one must think through their actions and their consequences. While the allure of status can sometimes sway us, it's essential to remember that in the grand narrative of life, wealth and freedom often hold the key to personal fulfillment. It's not about attaining money or status, but about building wealth and creating freedom. It's about understanding the game and playing it wisely. After all, life is too short to be spent chasing shadows. Comprehension questions. Question number 1. How does the essay suggest one can navigate the complexities of wealth, money, and status? Question number 2. How does the pursuit of wealth differ from the pursuit of status in the essay? Question number 3. How is money described in the essay? Question number 4. What does the essay suggest about the relationship between wealth and freedom? Vocabulary multi-choice. It's a way to check over the barriers of status and social hierarchies and to create a world where everyone can, what? Own a house, where everyone's work is up to scratch. A. Legally. B. Independently. C. Threat. D. Potentially. E. Dissect. At this juncture, it's worth calling out the what game of status that lurks in the shadows of society. A. Symphony. B. Displacement. C. Omnipresent. D. Dangerous. E. Deadly. Status is your rank in the social hierarchy, the monkey tribe's order where positions are, what? Defined. A. Clearly. B. Personal fulfillment. C. Juncture. D. Rigidly. E. Strictly. They see through the what of status and choose to dwell on tangible creation rather than abstract rankings. A. Illusion. B. Competitiveness. C. Omnipresent. D. Layers. E. Veil. Phrasal verbs multi-choice. It's not about sailing yachts or driving Ferraris, which in the grand scheme of life, can seem like a storm in a teacup, exciting momentarily, then, what? In interest. A. blowing down. B, boiling down. C, blowing back. D, blowing away. E, weighing up. At this juncture, it's worth what? The omnipresent game of status that lurks in the shadows of society. A, calling out. B, seeking out. C, pointing up. D, searching out. E, calling up. It's a game, much like an enduring relic from our evolutionary past, that often, what? Us harder than we'd like to admit. A, comes down on. B, comes back on. C, hits down on. D, bears down. E, comes down upon. Unfortunately, there's a common misconception that lingers like a bad odor, and we can't just, what? Ignoring it. A, stand around. B, stand by. C, fart around. D, fart while. E, sit away. Idioms and phrases. Definition: a small or insignificant problem or issue that is blown out of proportion. A storm in a teacup. B, chasing shadows. C, boys will be boys. D, omnipresent game. Definition: a phrase used to excuse or minimize bad behavior in males. A, omnipresent game. B, until the cows come home. C, pigs fly. D, boys will be boys. Definition: pursuing something that is elusive or unrealistic. A, up to scratch. B, boys will be boys. C, chasing shadows. D, linger like a bad odor. Definition: to persist or be present in an unpleasant way. A, chasing shadows. B, up to scratch. C, zero-sum game. D, linger like a bad odor. Definition: a game that is always present or widespread. A, boys will be boys. B, pigs fly. C, omnipresent game. D, chasing shadows.